Y'all, there are so many days where quitting seems to be more attractive and more befitting than staying consistent, especially when I have days and sometimes weeks where I feel like all of my effort that I put in to whatever this is that I'm doing, when I feel like I'm not seeing the results that I should see. And sometimes I get confused, right? Because at times I feel like I'm all over the place. But I remind myself that God is in some way, shape, or form using all of the different experiences that I've had over, last couple of years for some type of greater good, whatever that might be. Whew, man, y'all, I don't know why I feel led to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it a little more. But one of the things that still haunts me and bothers me is me not being able to successfully pass the emergency vehicle operations course, or EVOC, which is the driver's course that you have to take and pass in the police academy, among other things. But that's one of the biggest field events that you need to pass in order to move forward in the process. And like I said before, I struggled with the EVOC course. It was a lot, and people think they can drive until they take the EVOC course. And it was an intensive week for me. And when I found out that I was not going to be in the academy anymore because I couldn't pass the EVOC course, I broke down and I was crying. And it wasn't even, tears. It wasn't even so much that I was crying because I didn't pass. I was crying more so because I had like an instant flashback of everything that it took for me to even make it that far in a police academy. I know for me, and my story was probably similar to some others, but definitely different. You all know I went on this fitness journey, and in the past I tried to go to, I won't name specific agencies, but I tried to go to a very large, let's just say city agency, and because I was basically overweight, I literally had 1 more pound before I wasn't going to be eligible. And then I ended up just making it by the hair on my chin, right? A little bit that I have. And I went through their process twice, talking about, at this point, the medical portion of it. And for whatever reason, like I said, my eyesight, I guess it wasn't cooperating. I think it's because I didn't have the proper glass on at the time, but I was told that I had to either get LASIK eye surgery or contact lenses. And I struggled with contact lenses, and I didn't want to get LASIK eye surgery. And so it seemed like I tried to go through that process twice, and I kept getting it nowhere. And then I went on to apply to several other agencies, and I passed all of their medical and physical requirements. But I mean, at this point, I had applied to maybe like 5 or 6 different agencies. So for each agency, you have to fill, your personal history statement out. And I know for mine's, I mean, my average PHS, when things were said and done, was about over 100 pages, right? And then you have to go and prepare your body and your mind to take the physical fitness exam, which is the entry-level exam, just to move forward in the process. You do your polygraph, the whole 9. And so I had passed all that with flying colors, but I got to the point in which I was like, I'm tired, just waiting for an agency to reach out. And I was grateful enough for the agency that reached out to me to reach out to me. And then, like I said, I got hired. But it had really been, for me, a 2-year process, because in the midst of me applying for police agencies, I was still in my master's degree at the time. No longer there anymore. I have to go back, but I was balancing that, family, and then police applications, and then another job opportunity came through. And so when I found out that I needed LASIK eye surgery or contact lenses, another job opportunity opened up in politics. So I took that job. But then after doing that job for a couple of years, I realized that maybe my passion was still in law enforcement. And so, like I said, I ended up in the academy and made it all the way through week 19. I only had 26 weeks in total. And here I go, reaching another hurdle, or a stopping block, right? A barrier, and not able to complete that academy. Now, the positive is, if I wanted to go back, I could. But now there's so many other things going on in my life right now that are getting in the way, at least right now, or in this particular season, for me going back at this time. But you know, I say all that to say that I know that there's some other people out here that are listening to this, and they, you know, you all probably went after something that you really, really wanted and seemed like that door opened. But then right before you were getting ready to get through the door, the coast was clear, the door out of nowhere slams shut, or something unexpected happens that you weren't expecting, right? And so what do you do in that situation? Like I said, I cried like a baby, I'm not gonna lie. And then I eventually started working my way through it, and I looked at the time that I had as valuable. And you know, I know there's a way at some point for me to be able to apply some of the things that I've learned while I was in the academy for 19 weeks, but you know, I just continue to move forward, right? One of the reasons why I want to be a police officer, again, it's still not too late, but I'm just saying in hindsight, was the community service, you know, public service aspect. And you know, what I learned in politics was that those that are truly for the community will always be in the community and for the community. And so despite that temporary roadblock that got in the way of me being able to complete the academy, I'm still active and still being involved and engaged in my community. And that's what I hope other people do in whatever your specific field is. Don't allow, you know, a defeat, right, or a roadblock or a failure, if you will, define who you are as an, you know, as an entire person. Continue to persevere, take time to process your feelings, because that's what I did. Because that part's normal. Don't rush through that. But then once you get done that, don't stay down too long, and you know, go get after it again, whether it's trying again, or whether it's trying something else, or looking to figure out what God has for you. Maybe it wasn't that particular thing, maybe it is, but maybe it wasn't the season. And that's sort of what I remind myself. And so I'm grateful for that experience that I had. But like I said, I still, you know, I still have that I don't know if it's necessarily a regret, but like that haunting feeling where it's like, wow, man, I was almost that. But like I said, I have to walk away with the experiences that I've had and be grateful for that, to have even made it that far, and to just trust in God and have that faith for whatever's next. And I mean, that's what I'm doing. But like I said, some days are easier than others, just in general. But I'm still working to persevere. So with that being said, y'all, just stay encouraged to the best of your ability. Don't give up, especially on those days where you really want to, because you never know what blessing is right around the corner. So I love you guys. Have a phenomenal week starting tomorrow, and we'll talk soon. All right, y'all.